she's the number one team in South Dakota. She's actually ranked in the top 1% nationwide. Amy, who you are, what you do.
Even in an industry or a market right now where transactions aren't happening as often just because of some affordability issues, our LTV still equals out about $800,000 per client in a market in South Dakota. We turn our clients into walking, talking billboards of us, which is what every entrepreneur should be doing. We have a lifetime home support model that keeps clients for life. So it helps us have over 90% of our business come from repeat and referral. One of the biggest mistakes I made in my career was not using a CRM soon enough, not hiring a coach soon enough, not building out my personal brand. If you haven't done a competitive analysis on your competition to figure out what their strengths, weaknesses, and gaps are, that's where you need to start. Because
hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Amazing Marketing Show. Okay, some people think that marketing is all about closing a deal, moving on, and they think that about real estate too. But today's guest built her entire career on the exact opposite idea. And so Amy Stockburger is the founder and CEO of Amy Stockburger Real Estate, who, okay, she's the number one team in South Dakota, but that's nothing. She's actually ranked in the top 1% nationwide. Okay, that's a big deal. She built a ecosystem model she calls lifetime home support, part concierge, part community, part marketplace. And her clients don't just remember her, they return again and again because she engineers perks, partnerships, and touch points that keep them engaged for years. Before we start with Amy, I want to introduce my co-host, as always, Chris Gray. Chris, how are you?
Dimitri, what up?
I am living the dream. Excited for our guest, Amy. Lovely to have you. Please tell us about you, who you are, what you do.
gentlemen, thanks for having me. Let's have some fun. Let's get back to entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are my favorite species. They're my favorite species. So I love that you guys do this. So good job. But Amy Stockburger, like you said, Amy Stockburger Real Estate. I'm in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I've been in the real estate industry for almost 26 years now. And I run a teamerage, a broker owner of about 22 some agents. And we dominate about 10% of our local market share here. We have a lifetime home support model that keeps clients for life. So it helps us have over 90% of our business come from repeat and referral. And I created this all because I found a big problem in my business. That's how it happens, right? You find a problem, and then as an entrepreneur, you figure out how fast you can solve it. And I actually found, when I found this problem, I realized it wasn't just with my business. It was with the entire real estate industry as a whole. So we built out this lifetime home support model that lives on the foundation of serve, 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 sell. And that's what we're going to dive into today. I'm going to tell you all the juicy details.
I look forward to hearing those details. But when it comes to building a real estate business, what do most people get wrong, Amy?
The relationship stops at the closing table. That is what most people get wrong. And that, was about 2014 in my business. And systems are a superpower of mine. I love systems. If I can shave off 3 seconds on anything, it makes me happy. If I can shave off 3 minutes, oh my gosh, this girl is really, really happy. So we're really, really systemized on the before and during part of the transaction. And that would mean then you would think that we'd be getting all this repeat and referral business, right? If we were just killing that part of the transaction, why would we not have the repeat and referral business? And about that time, I was running these like $25,000 to $35,000 billboard ad campaigns for the one goal of reminding the people who knew, like, and trusted me to use me again and refer me. And guess what? It didn't authentically serve them, so it did not work. And it made me go down just a deep dive into figuring out, what I could do to solve that problem. And when we become entrepreneurs, we become it because we want to work for ourselves. We don't want anybody to tell us what to do. But then we become entrepreneurs and we're like, somebody tell me what to do. So I went looking for something somebody else had already built out, right? That I could R&D, rip off and duplicate and make it my own. Couldn't find anything. So I created it. We created a system and strategy for every step of the home buying and selling process before, during, and forever, so that we were taking care of our clients at every stage of their human existence. So from the very first home buyer who is getting out of a rental, going into home ownership, we have a lease buyout program. To the very last seller who is selling their very last house and going into senior care, we have a golden age guided move program, to everything in between. So think like an instant offer, guaranteed sale, a love it or leave it. But our signature signature unique value propositions are our VIP club and our home support team, which is a vendor network. And our VIP club, when people buy or sell with us one time, they get access to it for life for free. That's our moving trucks, which I monetize. We sell ad space to our vendors. So it's a cash flow for us. Billboard on wheels, 600 impressions per mile. We give it out to charities. My clients use it for life, not just first timers. The luxury clients use these too. We have 2 trucks, enclosed trailer, flatbed, whole thing. And then they get access to our party shed. So cotton candy, snow cone, popcorn machines, bouncy houses, tables and chairs, commercial grade food warmers, all branded to us though, because these people don't have parties by themselves, right? They invite all their friends and family over. We turn our clients into walking, talking billboards of us, which is what every entrepreneur should be doing. Your job as an entrepreneur should be having as many people as possible talking about your brand in front of as many other people as possible, as often as possible, in the best way as possible, right? This is what we've done. So then we have a tool shed. Think of any tool you need for home ownership that you don't want to rent, buy, or store. Ladders, wheelbarrows, specialty tools, carpet cleaners. They can come check out for free for life, all branded to us. And we have an online discount center. And then I really started thinking like, oh man, we as real estate agents, we're super connectors. We get to connect buyers and sellers. And then we get to connect our clients with everything else they need. They come to us looking for trusted resources on electrician, dentist, HVAC, all of it. And I knew that these companies that my clients needed were also had a problem. They were trying to sell more of their services, their products. And so I built out a vendor network of every home service you can think of. We have over 100 of the best local businesses in my market who are part of this. They pay me $3,500 a year to be a part of my program. They give my clients legendary care and preferential treatment, sometimes preferential pricing. And so before we even get to serve a client, not only are we profitable, but we also use it as a lead generation system within their employees. So we basically built an ecosystem that keeps feeding itself in a way that is authentically serving everybody else's wants, needs, and desires before ours. In a nutshell, that's it, gentlemen.
Yeah, Amy, this is brilliant. I have 2 comments and then a question. Comment number 1, Chris and Chris inspired me once because he said he makes a lot of his t-shirts. I'm like, okay, well, I can make my t-shirts. Like, what should I put on them? Well, I should put my company's brand on it and my hats. And it shouldn't everything that I wear just be promoting the stuff that I want to promote instead of the brand? And it seems like you do exactly that, Amy, with the real estate.
And we are NASCARing everywhere. We NASCAR everything. We have our brand.
Yeah, well, but it's so much
books. Name it.
Yeah, I bet. But even the tables and the chairs and the tents. Yeah. I mean, that's so brilliant. I love that. And this reminds me of those super agents in the sports realm, who are signing all the big names. Well, why are they getting them? Well, they're giving them all the perks, just like you're doing with real estate. That's so smart. And I wonder how many people have thought of doing that in real estate. That's fantastic. I mean, well, kind of give us a little preview of like, how did you start? I mean, this is so many things. So how did you start going into this new entrepreneurship and marketing direction with real estate?
Well, it was the problem that was the instigator. And I knew I had to solve it fast because we had a lot of clients and I just couldn't get away. We'd have a past client, and we don't have past clients. We haven't had past clients since 2014. We have forever clients. But back then, a past client would come up to me and say, my sister moved to town. They just bought a house right next to me. Gosh, they love it here. I'm like, what the hell did you just say? What do you mean? How was I not like top of mind? How was I not? Because again, I wasn't authentically serving them. So truly, I knew, and first my husband's my business partner and he is my boyfriend since I was 16, but he's a red light to my green light. So, which is a good partnership. Every partnership needs that, right? Because we'd be probably living underneath the bridge if I got to do everything I wanted to do. Like, we're going to do this, but he's a red light. So I'm like, here's the deal, mister. We're keeping clients for life. I'm building out a VIP club. We're getting a moving truck. He said, go do it, woman, but monetize it. So I did, because every business owner should be doing that too. You should be taking the Amazon model of turning cost centers into profit centers. And so I put the truck into place and I just sold out. I figured out what the carrying cost was going to be. Figured that out. And then I just divided that out and I sold ad space on the back of it to help my vendors get in front of more people. So that I did that right away. And then the party and tool shed, literally my poor husband, I took every tool that was in that man's garage.
Oh no.
And I brought it in there. And then literally we probably spent less than $5,000 to start this. Right now, my top 20 pieces of equipment that are checked out with our VIP club can be bought for under $4,000. It is so approachable. And we started it in a 10 by 10 shed. And I built it. So what I saw is how good it was for my agents and for my clients. Again, we turn every one client into like about 3 to 5 more almost instantly with referrals. And so I saw a way to help my agents build a referable, scalable, and sellable business. And that's something that brokers aren't really focusing on. Like, how can we help them build a business that's service-centric, relationship-based? Because if you do, it can sell for up to 100% more. And like, if I did that, then I could keep the good agents sticky to me. We have an average agent tenure of like 7.5 years because we keep I call us servipreneurs, not entrepreneurs. Like, that is what we do. We're out here serving. And so I saw the need in our industry. So I started building out licensing for agents, teams, and brokerages across the nation that they can license out my model. They can go and do it in their business. I have the digital courses. I have the blueprint. I have the roadmap. So they don't have to make all the shit and mistakes I did. I did all the mistakes. So then I blueprinted it out, systemized the heck out of it. And now I offer it out to agents across the nation, do the same thing so they can elevate the client experience. And by doing that, they can build a beautiful business they love and one that they can someday sell.
Amy, it's I don't know you, but it seems evident that you have a very high business acumen, right? Because you had this, you're not the first agent who asked themselves, hey, why did you not refer me? Right? This problem is not unique, but your approach and the way you solved it is quite unique. So then what do you think the difference is between the way Amy thinks and your frame of reference that you operate from versus maybe the average everyday agent?
In our industry, that lifetime value, like the lifetime value of a client, isn't even anything that's on agents' minds. And that they don't realize that the extending their lifetime value of their client reduces their cost to acquire a client. And I feel like that's where the miss is. And so like in our industry, Zillow, Realtor.com, Redfin, all of those companies, those tech who've been trying to get into our industry forever, those leads that they turn around and sell back to us are somebody else's past client that they didn't take care of. They weren't staying in front of them. They weren't taking care of them and serving them. And really, about the time that I started building this out, I read the book, The Go-Giver. And if you haven't read it, I think that's a non-negotiable for every business owner. But the underlying message is that if you authentically help other people above your wants, needs, and desires, the sales naturally follow. And what I tell my agents too, I'm like, when is the last time you helped somebody and you felt terrible? We're building a business where we get to help them with their biggest asset in their life for most humans. And then we get to continue to serve them over and over and over again. We're giving them a reason to say your name in front of as many people as possible. And I feel like that lifetime value is what not only agents miss, but I feel a lot of small businesses miss. That they need to be keeping an idea of how to do it. Like Christopher Lockhead, I have this in a keynote I talk about, but one of his quotes I think that is like beautifully terrifying. He says that if your profit model is based on transactions and not lifetime value, you're always going to be worried about your clients leaving you for a younger, better looking you. Gentlemen, I was a hell of a lot cuter 26 years ago. So, that's just what keeps happening. So I'm not getting cuter as I get older. So think about that. And I don't think a lot of people are. Men, you kind of do. But the fact is, if you're not investing in that lifetime value of your client, you're not going to actually be able to continue to scale at the level that you have the opportunity to.
The lifetime value is so prevalent in our marketing industry, the direct response industry, and it's what's the cost to acquire a customer? Mm-hmm. What's the lifetime value? And over what period of time matters too. I mean, were we talking about 1 year, 10 year, 30 year lifetime value? I mean, if they're going to keep coming back to you, like you said, it's their first house, it's their vacation house, and it's their final house. They're doing it all with you. That's probably over the course of several decades. So you get to know them pretty well. I would imagine your agents do.
Right. So even if we take like the LTV for our clients, just even in an industry or a market right now where transactions aren't happening as often just because of some affordability issues, our LTV still equals out about $800,000 per client in a market in South Dakota. For you agents who are in big markets with higher price points, like look at that number. What is that number to you? And how many repeat and referral business you get from that one client? But a magnet with their favorite team's schedule on it, it's not going to cut it. Sending them cookies every once in a while is not going to cut it. A pop by, even client events, isn't going to cut it. You have to authentically be serving what they want. They're providing solutions. I think that's just what it is. We humans, that's what we want is that. And think about this, guys. The rate at which tech and AI are moving, it's delicious. It's a delicioso time to be alive, right? It's just so delicious to be alive right now. But they're trying to infiltrate every part of our businesses, right? Which is great in some ways. But the one thing that humans will always innately crave, because that's the way God made our brains, is that human to human connection. They'll always want that. So right now, I feel every business needs to be looking at their client experience and how they can extend their LTV in a way that truly matters and where value actually has a definition. Because a lot of people throw out that bullshit word, like, here's value, here's value. What does value mean? What are you doing? What does that actually mean? Because what I figured out in 2014, like, it was really gross and super embarrassing. And I talk about this a lot, that I had to go down and like do some major extreme ownership, that because those billboard ads I was running, do you know what they said? I mean, they said something like real estate real easy or something super lame. Like, that didn't affect the client. What was that? And it was with me and like 6 or 7 other real estate agents in my market. We were everywhere USA real estate agent. We weren't doing anything different. And I was like, oh, but do you know what? You know what my unique value proposition is I'm the local expert at connecting buyers and sellers. Oh, wait. And sellers, I can get you the most amount of money, shortest amount of time, least amount of hassle. Oh, wait, buyers, I can find you the house of your dreams that matches your budget and your parameters. Well, guess what? That might be exactly what it says in Webster's dictionary and what my actual job title is. That's not a unique value proposition. That's what they're hiring me to do. That's table stakes, the basics of what they want from me as a real estate agent. What was I going to do beyond that? And that's when a real brand is created. A brand is created when you're known for more than what your core service offerings are. That is a brand. That is a brand that's top of mind. Don't you agree?
100%. I was just talking to somebody about the consumer confidence index, whatever that is, and we're at a COVID level low with consumer confidence right now. And I think that it could be in some businesses, what they might say is, hey, we're not selling right now because things are down, blah, blah, blah. Your industry obviously gets hit and impacted by these types of things. So what is your message to the agents when they're like, people just don't want to buy homes right now, the economy, so on and so forth? What do you tell them?
Well, I coach agents across the nation, and my message is always the same. NAR has told us, National Association of Realtors has told us year after year after year, your biggest lead source is always your sphere. So that is what my program is all about, is growing your sphere through growing repeat and referral business, through growing my vendor network and making that bigger with their employees. But in a market where we're not having as many transactions, you should be focused on working with the have-tos, right? How do you get in front of more have-tos? You grow your sphere. And you offer up and you keep offering them the value. So going back in and just really, and agents, I feel like that's one thing that we aren't taught either in this business, is like financial advisors, when you get into their book business, from what I understand, is that they're taught from the beginning, like how to build it to sell it. That's not what agents are taught. But like I said, a service-based, relationship-based business can be worth up to 100% more.
Once a client works with you guys and they feel the love, they feel the authentic connection, are they asking more from you? Like, can you name our baby or come to our wedding? How close are you getting to these people?
Some of them, we do those things. I was actually just telling a story to a new vendor we're onboarding today. So in May, we're in South Dakota, right? So in May, when graduations are, like, our equipment, that's the highest rental month for us. We rent out over 800 pieces of equipment because people use them for graduations. They have them in their garages. They have our tables and chairs, our coolers, our food warmers. And I was telling them, like, well, I walked into one of my past client who had sold their entire family houses, forever client that had sold forever all their family houses, all at this party. And I walked in, he's like, you coming to make sure that we're treating your stuff good? Like, their entire place was decked in my brand. I'm like, no, I love this. Yes, and who else do you know that has a life change coming up?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Amy, we're all entrepreneurs here, and we're hearing about all the great stuff that's going on with the business, and things are great. But we've all had those moments where when people don't see them, we're, at least for me, sitting on my couch with my face in my hands, wondering, what am I doing with my life? What is going on? And so, can you tell us about a time where things weren't going so well and you bounced back?
I can tell you about thousands of them. I have a PhD in failing forward. That's like one of my strong suits, is like being able to try stuff and figure out ways not to do it and then figure out how to do it. I think bandwidth. And before we really went down the rabbit hole pretty hard on AI in 2024 and implemented a lot of automations, even more automations into our business, it was at that where I was at bandwidth. I have a couple other businesses that we run. And I was bandwidth and capacity, to be honest. And it was like, what am I doing? And and I call it success syndrome sometimes, where entrepreneurs, when they're good at one thing, they jump in and they're like, I can be good at this too. And then, oh no, I can be really good at this. And then you run out of capacity and bandwidth altogether. And it's like, okay, I need to figure out what's the one thing that is really going to be, that's going to light me up and really going to make the most amount of difference in the world. That's what I need to focus on. And being a business owner is hard, man. It's hard. But again, entrepreneurs are my favorite species because of that, because we are a different breed. And we make differences in people's lives. And we get to do some really fun things, but they're hard. And it's a lonely road being an entrepreneur sometimes. So like stuff like this, the collaborative stuff, this is the stuff I love. And we live in a knowable world now, right? We get to know everything. Everything's a little bit easier for the entrepreneurs coming up. When I was starting my business, Googs wasn't Googs. I mean, I think Yahoo was out there, but Google wasn't it. I mean, sure as heck wasn't anything AI.
Yeah, nowadays you can just type whatever you want into any large language model. It'll give you the full blueprint, the step-by-step. And now you just got to follow it, but it's harder than ever to take action.
Right.
Why is that?
Superpower. I tell this all the time to entrepreneurs, like you have to have the superpower of implementation. You have to. Done is better than perfect. You have to have the superpower in implementation. You're not going to know if you don't try, and you're going to regret it if you don't. And every part's scary. If it's not scary, don't do it. If it's not a tiny bit scary, don't even waste your time on it. But you have to, again, systems are my thing. So I live by the acronym SAD. You have to run everything in your business through the filter of SAD. How can you systemize it? How can you automate it? Where can you delegate it? And can you delete it? Because us entrepreneurs, we're super good at adding complexity where it doesn't need to be. I think it's an Elon Musk thing. One of my partners was just telling me about that. Before he systemizes anything, he goes back through and saying, what can we take out? How can we take out? Because regardless of what you feel about that man, he can run. He's smart. He can run some businesses, right? So, but what part can you delete from it? Because oftentimes, if it doesn't move the needle at all, it can just go and be done. But if you run everything through, and also, I feel like one thing that I coach on is that looking at your business, and I learned this from one of my coaches, is that seeing what is most broken, that has the highest ROI, that you can fix the fastest. That is what you need to focus on. And that needs to be your focus right away. And if sales is the biggest thing that's broken, that's your first 90 days or 90 minutes of every morning. That's what you're doing. You're going in and going after your sales. You're being that and living by your calendar, and not saying you live by your calendar, but living by your calendar.
Speaking of finding things that are broken and fixing them so you can ROI faster, I was looking at some of our notes here, and there was a note about buying books of business to explode your growth. And Dimitri and I have talked about growth through acquisition. So what does that look like for Amy?
Right now in small businesses, we're in a silver tsunami, right? The baby boomers are getting ready to retire. A lot of them haven't planned efficiently. And so there's so much opportunity to buy books of business, or buy, in my industry, books of business, but there's opportunities in every industry for small businesses right now to acquire them. But what we're doing and showing agents how to do is to acquire a book of business for 0% down by helping an exiting agent. Because in our industry, over 44% of real estate agents are over the age of 60, and they represent about 45 to 50% of the transactions. And trillions of dollars are changing hands because of this, right? This baby boomer move. And so we have a whole system and strategy because we found another hole in our business. I was like, okay, I had a proven system and strategy to help my agents build big, juicy legacies. But why did I not have a system and strategy for every season of the real estate agent's career? Because agents are going to exit forever, even after the tsunami's over, right? And so we put together just a playbook that when agents have to exit, whether it's because they want to retire, or whether it's because they're going to partially retire, or whether because they're moving out of market, or it's just not a fit, I had a solution to help them monetize their book of business. And we created out software for it too, AI-powered software that monetizes it and transfers their book of business at a higher level, and just allowing agents to have an exit strategy for decades of relationship building.
All right, Amy, one of the things we like to do on this program, the Amazing Marketing Show, is get personal. We want to learn something about you that maybe even people who followed you for a long time didn't know about this. So I want to find that out. But before you tell us, I want everyone listening to this to subscribe so you don't miss guests like Amy. And by the way, if you stay until the end of the episode, you're going to get the free cheat sheet, 7 moves to consistent clients and cash flow. It's really good. And you're going to get the notes to the show. So subscribe, wait till the end, and subscribe to that newsletter. So Amy, tell us something that people don't know about you. Maybe something from your, growing up or personal of how you do business. I mean, you're such a high performer, so we want to know, like, what does the other side of life look like?
Oh, I think I have a learning disability, but okay, I'll tell you. I'm the oldest of three girls, and my two sisters are brilliant, like little nerds. We're in all the gifted programs, little nerds. They're beautiful little nerds. They're mine. I can call them that. One of them lives next door to me and owns some businesses with me, and I'm glad her brain's in it now. But like, I remember when I realized it, that I was not as smart as these girls. We were in the car with our grandparents, and the one, I think she was 6, my middle one, who's 22 months younger than me. She's like, so what does 55 miles per hour mean? Wanting to know what that means on the sign. And my grandma explained it to her, and she quickly realized, like, okay, that means we're going to be here in this amount. I mean, I couldn't do that, even like writing it out. She did it in her brain. So fast forward. So she's a little smarty, right? In all the gifted classes. Well, when we were 14, we got into a really bad car accident. Like compound fracture to my femur, helicopter ride. Like my eye was like cut completely off. Like they had to like put it back together. I wore a windshield up here. So compound fractured your femur, you're on crutches for a while. And so I missed a ton of school, like broke my pelvis. It was miserable. And which set me back in school, which I already wasn't real smart when it came to math, right? So my sister, 22 months younger than me, she was in the class up. Well, they had to keep putting me in the class down. We met. So then my sister and I were in the same class all the way from high school all the way up. And that little one did my homework for the majority of the time. And to this day, like I would actually like look at her papers like in class, and I was in a small school. They let us do that, but or they didn't care if we did it. She still got better grades, and I couldn't even copy enough to cheat well enough. She still she would get A and I would get like a B minus. I'm like, how in the hell could I not even copy smart on this? So I think my brain, and so you guys ever seen that Office clip where Michael's talking to his accountant and he's trying to explain to him, and he's like, explain it to me like I'm a 5-year-old. He's like, okay, no, explain to me I'm a 6-year-old, explain to me I'm a 5-year-old, I'm going to be 6 next year. So my ops, has been with me for, I think she's like 7,520 years. She's amazing. I love her. But she has a whole language that she had to learn, and how she explains things to me, because my brain works different than everybody else's. That I need them to explain it to me a little bit different, and I figure things out differently because I'm sure it's an undiagnosed learning disability that at this point I've just figured out how to do.
More than figured out how to do, you made it a strength. So
yeah, that's an advantage, actually. She just like, it's so funny. Her sister was doing her homework. She learned how to delegate way back in middle school.
Well, I tell my clients back when I was actively selling, I'm like, I'm a calculator real estate agent, and I'm not ashamed of that. Like this is a big deal. So that's how I would say, like, I'm going to calculate everything out. You're not going to get anything coming out of this head just off the top.
Now, a big transaction like that, you want to make sure the numbers are right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I saw some of your content, which is great. And I've seen other agents out there putting out content. Well, let me backtrack. Some agents don't put out anything. They will not get in front of that camera. And then some do, and it's so-so. And then others, or few, are really good, like yourself. And so what tips do you give agents when it comes to putting out content and building their brand?
Well, I will tell you one of the biggest mistakes I made in my career was, first, not using a CRM soon enough and sticking with it. Second, not hiring a coach soon enough. Third, not building out my personal brand. I tell this story all the time. Like, I was so focused on building out my business brand that I didn't build out my personal brand, and I'm paying for it now. So I'm having to go like harder into it to build it out, because at the end of the day, I might not always be Amy Stockburger Real Estate, but I will always be Amy Stockburger. So the tip I would have is that to build out your personal brand, that is who you are, that you need to have that triangle, that making sure they understand you as, are getting to see you for the most part as a human, as well as a business owner, and the solution that you provide to your audience. And making sure, also, I think maybe all business owners have this issue that you're effectively communicating who you serve in a way that it's easy for them to refer you. This is who we serve. So if you know of anybody who, has a life change coming up, because in our industry, anybody in the life change typically has a housing need, but that's oftentimes the issue, that you're just not effectively communicating that I serve everybody from 50,000 to 500 million, whatever it is, I can help them. And I will tell you, social media, golly, I mean, it's great, but it adds another layer of like things I had to systemize because because of the time it takes, right? So I had to build in automations. I had to build in different prompts to take my, my one Tuesday series for my vendors that I put out. That gets turned into like 5 different blogs. It gets turned into 2 different newsletters. It gets turned into all these different things just from one prompt that I had to build out because I'm like, otherwise it was just going to be so much for me to do. It's hard. That's the social media part, like you have to be a content creator to some sort to be if you're a business owner right now. And that's just the unfortunate part, right?
Yeah, I think most business owners would agree that it is in fact unfortunate and they're doing it just because they heard they have to do it. But there's got to be some X factor to creating content that people actually care about.
Oh, heck yeah. You have to 100%. And do I think that I've 100% figured it out? Heck no. I think we know who our avatar is, our ideal client profile, and we know what our themes are for our week, for our company, and for Amy's personal socials. We know, what our marketing goals are, and so we just try to create around that. But I think it's success and self-development are hand in hand, and I think to be a business owner, you have to be just staying on top of things and know that you are the only one in your business who's going to love it as much as you are. It's your baby. And so even though when you delegate things out, you have to still be the one who has a pulse on the things that matter like that, which is your reach and reputation. That's social media, right?
Yeah. Well, and speaking of delegating, a lot of business owners, they'll hire what they have to hire. Just, okay, we need help here. We're going to hire here. But what would you recommend as the first 1 or 2 hires that go outside of this urgency mentality?
For social media or just for your first hire
in
period?
general?
Oh, EAs. Get an EA. That'll buy back so much time. Right away, an executive assistant. Get yourself out of your emails. Get yourself out of your calendar. I very rarely touch my calendar. I mess it up when I do. I'm not supposed to be in my emails. Somebody else does that. I look every once in a while because I can't not. But turn off your notifications. Get your notifications off your phone. They're none of your damn business. They have somebody else take care of them. Get them off. It's going to make you more productive. But have an EA who is going through and do that time energy audit. Just go through and do a time energy audit of your calendar of what you're doing throughout the entire day, and then go back and look and put dollar signs next to each one of those tasks. I guarantee you there's tasks that live in your calendar that should not be tasks you are doing. Once you take those tasks off, it allows you to work on your business so much more. And an EA, an executive assistant, is the very first, I feel, step that you put in as an entrepreneur. I actually just met with 2 of my highest producers today, and they're getting their EAs. And I'm like literally like almost tears. Like I had goosebumps. I'm like, ladies, this is what I said. I've been in your spot. I've been burnt out. I've been crying at home because I've worked 15 hours and I miss so much of my kid stuff. My kid, actually my oldest, I have a 22 and a 9-year-old. My oldest, who works for us, he went to his first closing when he was 2 weeks old. He's done more open houses than most agents ever have because we were broke as a joke and I didn't have a choice. I was just grinding, right? And he swore he was never going to get in the business because he saw how much we, were working and missed out on him because I was doing things all wrong. And I didn't systemize fast enough and get those things in. And I lost a lot of time with him, which is unfortunate. And that's one thing that an EA can easily come in and help you in so many ways. So you can buy back your time with your family, not so much, even work time, just to give you some relief and to keep you out of that burnout. Because that's what happens with us, right? As entrepreneurs, you go. And then you just hit your limit, and then you slide back. And then you go, and then you slide back until you get that support where you're able to have actually some real relief and have somebody taking care of stuff you shouldn't have touched anyway.
Amy, one more question for me is, I'm thinking about the agent who's watching this, or somebody who has the business, and they're the beginning to middle stages of their career. Here they are. They see you at the apex right now. You got the number 33 in the nation, top 1% in the nation. You are confident. You know what you're talking about. You have the business acumen. You have these things. You have the camera presence and all that. And it would be easy, not to get too woo woo, but it would be easy for somebody to say, she has all that. I don't have it. I'm not outgoing. I'm not that super smart or whatever. So when people come in with this kind of that type of mindset, which I'm sure you've seen in your industry, what is your advice to somebody who's thinking like that?
Well, first of all, she don't got it. She's just trying her best every damn day. And I'm giving it my best and I'm doing it authentically the right way that I I've done everything, the wrong way first, and then realized how to systemize it. But I think for those who I think all of us have imposter syndrome, right? That's just part of the deal. I don't think no matter where you're at in your life, you'll ever not have it. I have pace cars that I watch right now. I'm like, oh man, look at them. Look what they're doing. I want to do that. Like, I want that. Like, that's always going to be something that exists, and it's never going to be perfect. I tell agents this, teams, brokers all the time, there is always going to be something broken. What you need to do is have this superpower of implementation and be crystal clear on what it is you're trying to do. And, one thing that agents, any business can do, if you haven't done a competitive analysis on your competition to figure out what their strengths, weaknesses, and gaps are, that's where you need to start. Because once you figure out what your competition's strengths, weaknesses, and gaps are, then you can start building in, I call it H to H, the human to human strategies you need to have in your business, because that's what's going to help elevate that client experience, right? Because it doesn't matter what your B2C strategy is, your business to consumer, your B2B. If your H to H isn't elevating that client experience, it's going to be harder to scale. So first figure out your competition, where they're lacking, where they're gaining, and then build in your H to H, and then just get crystal clear on that and stay the course. Run it in 90-day increments. I wish I would have started Entrepreneur Operating System, EOS, sooner in my business. So I would say, even for a small business, jump on EOS, read traction, go out there and use that to help keep you in alignment. And also it helps keep the visionary, because the visionary has 7,000 ideas while they're taking a shower. And then they come back and they want their team like, hey, stop, we're going this way. You know what I mean? And that's an EOS puts limits on the visionary and says, nope, this is the track we all decided, and we have 90 days, we're running this. And so it allows me not to burn out my people, allows visionaries not to burn out their people, and stay in the track that's getting done what they need to get done.
I bet so many of you can relate to that. And especially teams working for visionaries are like, oh, I hear it. All the team's got to come up with a nice way of telling the boss, like, no, we actually are still working on this other stuff. I mean, everyone knows what you're talking about there. That's pretty funny.
Or when the team leader goes to a conference, everybody's like, oh no.
Yeah.
Or my people used to be like, oh God, I hope she doesn't have Wi-Fi in the plane. They'd be like, nuts, she has Wi-Fi in the plane. We're still working. She's sending over ideas.
Oh my gosh, so true. All right, so I think everyone listening to this, they're probably like, first of all, if they're in South Dakota, they probably have already heard of you. But if they haven't, they're like, well, next time sell my house or buy a house, it's got to be with your brokerage. So how are they going to get in touch with you to do that?
Yeah, you can go out. Our social media handle is at Amy Stockburger Real Estate, but go check me out on my personal at Amy Stockburger. I'm very Googleable in that, but you can also, if you're interested in any of my solutions for teams, you can check out lifetimehomesupport.com. Otherwise, amystockburger.com takes you to everything we have for our brokerage.
Okay, and so lifetimehomesupport.com, that's the one where anybody nationwide could get into your systems, plug it into, whether they live in California, New York, anywhere, Florida, they can do it there.
Right. Yep. We have done for you can do it yourself options. I have done with you options. We have AI powered technology to help you build out a whole network. We have something that fits an agent no matter where they are in their career. Okay, so AI is, of course, at the tip of everybody's tongue nowadays. They probably ears perk up when they just heard that. So I'm seeing proinsight.com. Can you tell us about that AI solution? Yeah, so we built out a new category in our industry called relational tech. And it's AI-powered technology to go in and find opportunities, not only within we call it assets under management, your database, so your people you've served, your forever clients, but we show you how to build out your vendor network, similar to mine, but we get your vendor network in it. So then we have the same thing that's getting run on their database to find opportunities in everybody's databases to help them build a referable, scalable, and sellable business. And so it's a super sexy platform. I wish if I would have had this back when I started my lifetime home support model, we'd have 20% market share, on it. So it's just a way to utilize the strengths of what we have in front of us for tech and do it in a way that's still the way you should be running your business, which is growing your sphere through your vendors, through your networks. And that ultimately serves your client because you have that network of people to take care of them.
Yeah, the network, I'm trying to, in my own mind, relate it to businesses that I work with, even my own business. The network is, I mean, people say the network is the net worth, and that's cliche and all, but it's also true.
It's totally true.
But it's true, but it's not just transactional. It's relational. It's authentic if you are doing it authentically. So yeah, okay.
Transformational. That's what I say. We can't be transactional. In our industry, had a big lawsuit last year that said, hey, we're done with this industry being transactional. They're demanding that we're transformational. And so that means elevating that client experience forever. But I think AI, like, okay, you said something sexy about AI. Like, yeah, I think this is a, God, what is the stat on this? Might be a Tony Robinson, one of the masterminds I was in. I heard this, but he said that there'll be 2 businesses by 2030, businesses using AI and businesses no longer in business. and that's the deal. Like we hired an AI consultant at the beginning of the year of this year to go faster because I needed to get there faster. We've automated 60% of our workflow because of it. I'm building out a white label for agents to do the same thing with our transaction management with it. I have 2 digital employees being built in Microsoft Teams right now for 24/7 agent support and admin support. We built out a AI visibility engine to show up in those AI platforms because y'all, 76% of voice searches are near me in for local businesses. So if you're not showing up in those mentions, you're blind, invisible and blind. You're invisible to 3/4 of a growing market. That's a lot of people. I'm not a math girl, but that seems like a lot, guys.
Well, and I like to ask, what does it mean to be human in the age of AI? And it seems like the answer is, or at least what does it mean to be a business owner in the age of AI? It means keep doing the personal, relational stuff, transformational stuff, but then use AI, use it to your advantage, learn how to operate it. You have to, or else, like Tony Robbins says, you're going to be out of business.
Right. We run AI workshops for small businesses as a lead funnel, but I do it to help, to get them into my vendor program. But that's what we're showing them, to save them like 5 to 10 hours just with small changes and tweaks of what they can use in their business. And I think it's a non-negotiable. I know it's a non-negotiable. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Chris.
I think we are approaching time, sir.
Yeah, we are. So, Amy, I really love this episode because we got some super tactical things. And by the way, if you're listening to this, you're like, what did she say that was tactical? I already forgot because of all the other great information in the second half of the episode. Well, we have the notes. So go ahead and subscribe to the newsletter. The notes are going to come to you. You get step by step. There was one, like a 2-minute segment there in this episode, which I thought was a masterclass in itself. So this was a super jam-packed. No, seriously, it was about.
It really was.
Now I forgot. I need the notes. I need to subscribe. No, but I wanted to mention it, and there's so many good parts to this. So all the links that Amy mentioned, they're going to be in the description. Check them out. Reach out to her on social media. Amy, it's really lovely to have you.
Yes, thanks for having me. I'm trying to think what I can offer your audience, but I think every entrepreneur, how about this? They need to grow their database. I call it a data bank. So if you go out and follow me on Instagram and DM me at Amy Stockburger, DM me database, I'll send you my data bank builder to help grow your sphere. And it's just this memory jog that shows you how to do it. And you guys can get that asset and to help put it into your CRM. So I think every industry could use that.
Beautiful.
All right. Thank you for that. And on that note, we'll see you next episode. Bye-bye.
See you guys. Thanks for having me.